Do new comic books really suck right now? Welcome back to another video from John's Comics with Friends. I'm happy that you're here. I was inspired to do this video around, do new comic books really suck right now? Is this a bad time to read new comic books? My friends, Two Brothers Comics, are back. I've missed them. Their videos are always really, really great. And Dustin, the comic chiropractor, great presser and cleaner. But they said something in their video that really stuck in my brain and made me want to talk about this topic because they firmly feel like the experience has changed for them. That new comic books are not good anymore, and that nobody's talking about them, and that they're not enjoyable, and that there's been this huge drop-off for them. And that's true in their experience. But it made me think about an interview I had done recently with Paul in the 619, and he asked the question about, hey, you read a lot of new books. Do you enjoy new books? And I had some things to say.
You read modern books, current comics.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, I'm not gonna say a lot of guys, and I'm not gonna name no names, but they scoff at the new stuff, man.
I get it. I think what that usually equates to is people who love a certain character or love a certain portion of in DC or Marvel and are frustrated with where that part of the universe is right now. And I can totally respect that. Like, I'm a Batman fan, even though I'm very harsh on the fact that I have not enjoyed Batman comics the last few years. I think Batman comics are not nearly as good as, say, Nightwing or Wonder Woman right now, right? And I could understand being a Spider-Man fan and feeling like I haven't had a great Spider-Man book since, I don't know, 20 years. Like, Spider-Man Life Story was great, but it was like a 6-issue thing. Like, has there been a great run of Spider-Man in the last 20 years? Like, it's been a while since maybe the original Ultimate Spider-Man that Bendis and Bagley did, right?
Yeah.
So I could see somebody becoming disillusioned because they follow the character and the characters that they love. I love the X-Men, but I don't follow them. I follow generally writers and artists. And when you do, you'll find there are always good comics being published. They just might not be with Spider-Man. They just might be with somebody else, right? And
totally agree. Yep.
There's guys like Rick Remender or women like Kelly Thompson that are putting together some phenomenal runs on like, I've never read Birds of Prey, but Kelly Thompson got on that joint and I was like, this is fantastic. I'm loving it. Like, I've never read a Birds of Prey book until this run, and I've got every issue. It's been a blast. And Tom King gets on a Wonder Woman book, and I'm like, I'm checking this out, and it's been one of my favorite comics on the shelf, right? I think it's because I'm less focused on, oh, I've got to know everything about these characters going in, and more just like, no, Tom King, take me on a ride. Like, let's see what this is going to be all about.
Very nice. So you mentioned a couple comics that you're currently reading. What else are you reading?
I will say I'm pretty Marvel light right now. It's a Marvel. I do think, as much as I'm a Marvel boy here, a Marvel stan, that they have not had as many quality comics. There are good ones. Incredible Hulk by Philip Kennedy Johnson is fantastic. And I'm not even a Hulk boy. Like, I was Immortal Hulk was my first full run of any Hulk that I've read. And it was so good, I kept going. I was like, well, Philip Kennedy Johnson's coming on this bad boy. I'm in. Like, let's go to that one next. And it was worth the time. And so there are those diamonds in there at Marvel. But DC's doing better stuff. And all the Wonder Woman books, Absolute and Regular, they're both phenomenal. I'm a Poison Ivy sicko. They've done 38 issues of this book, but I have 125 comics of Poison Ivy. It's like like 1.5 short boxes of issues. They've only done 38. But that one's been great. And then, like I mentioned, Birds of Prey. But routinely, when I'm publishing or writing or making my videos on the best books of the year, it's Image Comics that's crushing that game. And if you're not reading the books that are coming out from these indie publishers, that's why you're feeling like comics aren't as good right now, because that's where the original ideas, the groundbreaking storytelling, the up and coming artists are. That's where they're thriving. And Image, because it's all creator owned, they've got the juice. They're putting together some great stuff. So Jeff Lemire, Rick Remender. Like I read the first 3 issues now of Remender's Escape, which is kind of like a World War II but with dogs book that sounds bonkers. It's amazing. Like it's soul crushing and powerful and creative and so well drawn and Exquisite Corpses. James Tinian is amazing, and that book is fantastic. And you're like, it's a wild ride, man. And it's like a little bit of horror and a little bit of Running Man or something thrown in there. It is phenomenal. So, those books are out there. I remember talking with friends about Layla Starr when that book came out, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Like, I've never read anything or seen anything like that. Movies, TV, regular novels, comics. It was a really mind-blowing experience to read that book. So those books are out there. I just think that it's easy to dismiss it because maybe they're not Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, whatever.
Lastly, I wanted to mention one other thing, and that's about echo chambers, because I do think the other big problem with not enjoying new comic books right now comes from echo chambers. If two brothers have sort of left the community and aren't doing as much on YouTube, and maybe a few of their friends are in the same boat, it's possible their echo chamber might be saying over and over again that they're not enjoying new comics, but that means that they're not branching out. Sometimes that means it's time to find new YouTube channels to watch, because I promise you there are a ton of channels out there still talking and hyping new comic books. Batman, Absolute Batman is like the bomb right now. Everybody's talking about this. Every channel I go on that talks new comics is talking about this book. So there are books that are getting hyped right now and that everybody's freaking out about. I tend to be a channel that highlights books that maybe not everybody's reading. So I'm talking about, Poison Ivy, or I'm talking about Incredible Hulk. I'm talking about books that maybe are getting overlooked, like Birds of Prey. But there are a ton of channels always talking about new comic books. It might just mean maybe you need to broaden the channels you watch and find channels that are still talking about new books as your habits change and your collecting changes and you're buying maybe older books. Maybe if you want to stay up on those things, there are channels to watch. But at the same time, there's no shame in changing your habits and getting into older books and no longer reading new books. But that doesn't mean new books suck. It just means you're not interested in them anymore. And that's my problem, is people are generalizing and saying new comics suck. And I totally disagree. There's a ton of great stuff out there. And there are a ton of channels always hyping new books. Just because you've moved off and you're onto something different doesn't mean you should crap on it. That's where I'm coming from. And I hope if you feel the same way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you reading new books? Are new books horrible right now? Is this a bad time to read new books? Because I promise you, every era has had haters and every era has had lovers. I personally feel like this is a great time to read new books, and there's a ton of things happening that I'm loving. But I understand habits change and collecting changes. So where are you in your habits, and where is that process for you? Are you enjoying new books, and what are you reading? Thanks, everybody, for coming to John's Comics with Friends, and I'll see you again later.